It was a sombre start to the 2015 New South Wales Aboriginal Statewide Conference as delegates paused to remember the life and legacy of the late Uncle Les Elvin.
We had one of our elders which passed away last night. There's one of our respected elders, Les Elvin. So what I'd like to do, if you don't mind, I'd like us all to stand for a minute of silence in respect of Les Elvin. Thanks very much.
Heartbreaking for his mother, learning of her father.
We sincerely send our deepest sympathies to his immediate family, of which we have a few in the audience with us tonight. And it's with their blessings, the family of the late Uncle Les Elvin, the Wanneroo people, with the welcome from Uncle Tom, and with the blessing of the Minda River Local Aboriginal Land Council, we are able to conduct this forum for the next 2.5 days.
The councils have decided that the next 3 or 4 days will be honouring Uncle Les, dedicating Uncle Les's commitment to not only land rights but also his community around Cessnock and the Hunter. Like Uncle Tommy said, he's won numerous awards. He's been very active in helping people with drug and alcohol addictions. He was in and out of schools in relation to education, and he was a keen artist.
The event, hosting more than 250 Aboriginal delegates from local Aboriginal land councils across the state, was once again held in the Hunter Valley. Proceedings began with an awards night, recognising youth and elders in the network.
I'm very grateful to achieve this award. It goes to show that hard work and commitment pays off. I want to be an inspiration for my younger siblings and Aboriginal youths within my community.
I never thought that we'd ever have the chance of ever teaching our culture, because, as you know, the people outside the Koori Circle used to try and tell us what we were, where we were, where we come from and everything else. And today we have that right, which we should do, to go out and teach our culture, share our culture.
The first day of business was opened by Chairperson Craig Cromlin and saw a number of guest speakers present on economics and the future directions of land rights.
There is a great opportunity here as part of the service delivery reform process, and what happens under the land rights system. They actually need to come together, and culture needs to be embedded in how we deliver services, not them being in different silos and not relating to each other.
It might be that other factors such as metrics around land management, the regeneration of land, the recovery of land, the creation of employment, community cohesion, belonging. These are all, if we think about a socially and culturally embedded economy, are economic activities. And with the right kind of language and modelling and metrics, they can be appropriately drawn into these models that guide how the decisions for enterprises.
And there was plenty of discussion from the floor.
But please be aware that every day, as an Aboriginal person, we have a challenge. A challenge to continue to survive, and a challenge to actually see how we're going to navigate the rest of our lives for not only myself, my children, my grandchildren and great-grandchildren that will come along, to survive in a country that, as I said, we have never ceded. It is ours.
Is the federal government still going to keep injecting funds into AHO on our statistics so they can get more money, which they don't service, to our land councils for our housing that we manage ourselves?
The highlight for many, a special presentation from international keynote speaker and tribal leader Tatipani O'Regan.
To get a conversation working within my own and amongst Indigenous people, aimed at evolving models of the ethic I've been referring to, but in which the Indigenous minorities are themselves the autonomous managers of their own futures, I will assert that such an ethic of Indigenous government needs to be aligned, it needs to be fit with the aims and aspirations of the culture, and to draw from our experience some sense of the challenge we face in the evolution of a culturally relevant model of governance as we assume command of our own future on the back of our own capital, for which we are now responsible.
This year's conference also saw regional presentations profiling many uplifting stories of Land Council determination and achievement.
It's very important because they are going to be the next generation of people that's going to look after country. And it's very important that they learn how to look after country according to our traditional laws. And I'm really proud of the boys for doing that. You know, it just goes to show their commitment to Mutawinji and their commitment to wanting to learn about this special place.
The vision is to do educational tours to teach people about Aboriginal culture. So yeah, so it's a big project, but we'll eventually get there.
We had a land claim that was denied back about 5 years ago. State Land Council looked at it, well the lawyers looked at it and resubmitted it, and the Minister approved it. He said he'd give us compensation.
And land rights, which is mother of all Aboriginal people. Your land is your blood and your rivers are your blood and your land is your mother's, you know.
Newswalk's Core Business headlined Day 3 with a panel on resource development, generating debate.
We've got none in our river there now. Where are you getting this water to mine everywhere out here?
We need to go through a process, and that's what we're starting to do, is to do all of the geological studies to better understand the substrata in order to understand the water table underneath. On the surface, you're right, there's not a lot of water. As I understand it, gas itself doesn't require lots of water unless you decide to go into things to do with fracking and so on, and which we're not looking at coal seam gas.
Other topics up for discussion included land negotiation and culture and heritage.
The Great Statewide Land Settlement is an idea that, led by Newswalk, the Land Rights Network could go to the government and say, we'll do a once and for all deal with you on land claims if this is your problem, but here's the terms of how this conversation will unfold.
We have our connections to land and we have our connections to each other. And in my eyes, this makes us the richest people in this country, not the poorest. And it's something that white Australia, they don't have them connections. And all the money, thank you. And all the money that they got in the world can't buy them connections. So we are rich.
The final day saw a focus on the upcoming New South Wales Aboriginal Land Council elections, encouraging local Aboriginal land councils to encourage their members to vote.
We really should have a look, grow some membership, grow our young people into coming on and being involved. And I think that's now happened. And we have a look around today at the presentations that have been given over the last few days. Our younger people are not only just taking up roles in membership, but are taking up roles in the running and organisational aspirations of our LALCs.
After a passionate session on healing, delegates prepared to head home. It was a packed 3 days that showcased the strength and powerful bonds that make up the land rights system.